All right, guys. Hi, everyone. This is June from Base Korea. Today's session will be in English since we have English guests. And today's title would be Start Building Today. So basically what we did last session was work out like what the agentic infra is on Base, what are agents, and what we can do to like simply set up this environment. And I think a lot of people are romanticizing on like how good your setup should be. Like, should I buy like 5 Mac minis, set up like $1,000 server to like get something going? But that's not really needed. That's not the important part. What's more important is like what you do out of that infrastructure and what you create value into. So I think today will be like a session for both devs and non-devs to find out the answer to that question. And we've invited like great guests who can guide us through their own stories and how their infrastructure allows builders like you who are watching this podcast on how they can build their agents. So let's just start with like let's start with Igor. Can you give a short intro of yourself and what you're building around agents?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having us. I'm Igor, DevRel at Bankr, and my day-to-day is helping developers build agents. At Bankr, we have what we think is one of the best tech stacks for getting people from zero to functioning agent in production. And we have some cool things that we released recently around X402. Also, previously, the Bankr LLM Gateway, which is something we could touch on. We find that it's the perfect missing piece of the puzzle for self-sustaining and autonomous agents that can fund their own compute. And I'm excited to chat with everyone.
Thank you for joining. And then Danny, can you say hi to us and everyone?
Hey guys. So Danny, COO at Bankr. And I think complementary to what Igor said, Bankr is more than a launch pad on Base. It's more than come have your agent launch a token and fund its own operations and compute and kind of switch over the mindset of how do we fund startups today, where the startup is now one dev and one agent, or one dev and an army of agents. So what we're excited about building is the entire tech stack to support that new business model, but also the economic and the growth stack to complement it. And we see Bankr as we're not here just for the tech. We're here to support you on day 1, but also day 30, day 90, and to really bring in the next unicorns that are going to be built out of the one dev, one agent structure. So really excited to also touch about the economics of it and how we support on the growth as well as the tech stack.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for that. And excited to hear more about that later this call. And yeah, and next we'll go with Andrew. Can you say hi to everyone? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my English name is Andrew. I do East Asia growth at Base. Happy to have you all. So our guests for today's panel talk would be mainly the large stars. Project 7, they are the leader in generating transactions within East Asia region. And then, of course, Bankr. It is the most well-known projects within the Base ecosystem. So today, as we talk more about agents, giving agents the wallets, the many potentials that it opens up for the masses, for the on-chain users, I hope we can explore more and share about more great ideas. Thank you.
Great. Now let's move on to project. Can you say hi to everyone?
Hello, I'm Project 7. My team is running Mint Club and Hunttown. And thanks, Andrew, saying the big words for us. But actually, yeah, we know Bankr a lot. Actually, we used to work with a deployer for a long time. Some of the product actually collaborated with us, Mint Club, a long time ago. I'm not sure if you guys can remember that. So we're running Mint Club, which is kind of Launchpad and DEX. Mint Club is more focusing on like very high level of token structure architecturings. For example, we're using bond include mechanism. Any user who uses Mint Club system, they can literally customize the entire bond include for their own token stacks. And also we support parent-child token model. So like, nowadays Jora and all other protocol kind of utilize those parent-child token model. We're kind of proud to say that we started that model. So by using Mint Club, anyone can actually launch very highly detailed parent-child token model system for their app or their services. So nowadays we're really like involving with lots of AI driven skills and CLI system for supporting all the AI agents on Base. We're also running Hunt.Town, which is kind of, we say on-chain co-op model, like, cooperative. So like we have about like 10,000 daily backers. So anyone who launch a token on Hunt.Town, they will get instantly exposed to the 10,000 backers that they will constantly voting for their project and also minting their token by using their voting power. So literally kind of we mimic actual co-op system, but fully on-chain on Base. So this is what Hunt.Town is aiming for. I'm actually just like, I started my career as a Web3 designer, but I started vibe coding like 6 months ago. And now, yeah, I don't do design anymore. Everything what I do is like by using all my like 12 different agents to do design, to do the coding and everything. I have a lot of side projects too, like Dropcast, which is actually today, I'm proud to say that is a top 4th rank on the podcast global charts. I'm seeing that a lot of users love to use Dropcast, which is kind of solely from vibe coding, so which is kind of exciting. This is how to show how Base is amazing for every builder because you can just build anything and then can capture new users quickly, instantly among those spaces. So yeah, it was really great to see you guys, and then I'm excited to talk about the Agentic workflow today.
Yeah, great. That's the beauty, right? You don't have to be like a developer anymore nowadays
Yeah.
to be able to build stuff. So that's great. But let's hear from a developer who's been developing for years. Logan, can you say hi and what you're doing right now? Yeah.
Okay. Hi. My name's Logan. I lead an AI engineering team in AdTech in Web2. I also serve as a Base developer ambassador, helping builders ship real on-chain products. I've contributed to CDP's AI stack, such like the X-Pro 2 and Agent Kit. And then I can care about making this ecosystem practical and approachable. And then my focus is, can the agent actually hold funds or pay for services and take real action in the product flow? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Amazing. So thank you everyone for joining. So basically, if you see like the participants here, so today we'll be inviting like the Base team, global builders, Korean builders to share about their story, both devs and non-devs. So hope this brings you a lot of insight on like what you actually can achieve with blockchain and agents today. So as a starting note, I think we'll start with the infrastructure layer, which is of course Base. Logan, it would be great if you can share a short intro on like what the Base agent stack is and what the recent developments are.
Okay. As an AI engineer, I believe that Base is great place to build AI agent commerce and the AI agent payment with the X-Pro 2 on Base. And then also, recently, the Base development team also is focusing on the AI agent stack, something like the OpenClaw. Yeah. And also they are published some videos about the trading agent, and also the agent skills. So I'm here to help other builders to follow that guide.
Yep. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. So like Logan mentioned, also shared a lot of both text and video content on like how you can just start by day one. And at Base Korea, Logan also took the initiative to like generate Korean videos to help build local builders as well who have like a language barrier in understanding these documents. Yeah, that's what Base Korea has been focusing on during during March. And Andrew, if you can share a bit about X402, and I think there has been like a big announcement today as we hold this recording, right? So it would be great if you can share your 2 cents on that as well.
Yeah, just now, an hour ago, I guess. Yeah, maybe that long. We just announced the X42 Foundation. It is more led by Linux, but anyways, we contributed a lot. And then, as you mentioned, Base is really into making prosperous agentic commerce environment. And then in order to achieve that, Base as a non-custodial layer, we are supporting many fronts. And then Brian Armstrong, he also had posted about like an hour ago mentioning that AI agent deserves a crypto wallet. So he cited the X42 Foundation launch, and then the first sentence was, every AI agent deserves a crypto wallet. So I think this one sentence really shows where we are going. So what we as a firm try to do is to make the best environment for agents to be generated and the agents to have a wallet and to transact. And then that's where we need projects like Bankr, which really helps many agents to have their wallets and to transact. And then, yes, as we paved the way for a new chapter for the Agentic Commerce through X42 Foundation, I think from now on, it's going to be even bigger. And then one surprise, we onboarded Kakao Pay, which is a financial arm for South Korea's biggest tech/finance. So like literally 99% of South Korean people use the application. So their MAU is like 50 million. So it's just crazy. And then the thing that they were also onboarded as a founding member for X42 Foundation, even before their onboarding, South Korea was already very into AI agents. And then from now on, I think it's going to be even faster. So people are going to get used to AI agents in a mass adopted way. And then if we kind of teach them how people could actually easily deploy wallets also with their agents, I think it'll open up a new chapter for all of us.
That's huge. That's bringing Kakao to the ecosystem. Huge.
Yeah, so great things going on in both Base and like the agentic ecosystem. So I think the bottom line here is that agents are great, but there's still a lot of friction with like the traditional infrastructure and even like the understanding of like just normies that don't know like how to begin in this area. So I think this year inviting these traditional players into the ecosystem, I think that's the way to go. Yeah, so now we'll go directly into the actual use cases that projects are building, and we'll start with Bankr. So I don't want to put too much restraints here, but I think we can start by just explaining what Bankr is to everyone. And yeah, just please share like what you guys have been focusing on recently.
I'll start on I think a good way to structure it, I'll start on the high level. I'll let Igor dive down and geek out in the technical stack and the architecture and how it supports different agent teams. And if we still have time, we can even give some examples from our ecosystem, because I would really love to highlight some of these incredible builders that Igor is working with hand in hand. Hopefully get some really good Korean devs to build with Bankr as well soon. So I think the interesting thing about Bankr is that Bankr wrote the playbook for a self-sustaining agent. And everything that we built and are opening up now as an infrastructure layer is something that we built for ourselves and then opened it up because it came from an actual dev need that we faced. So we're like, okay, if we need this, then everybody needs this. So Bankr started on Farcaster as the first agent that you can interact with in natural language that also does execution and not just, let's say, informative discussion, but does on-chain execution based on natural language commands on Farcaster. Then we moved on to X. And Bankr itself as an AI agent actually accidentally, unplanned, launched its own token when we weren't expecting it yet. So it was a completely fair launch where 100% of the supply went into the LP pools. We only figured it out a few hours after it actually happened, because literally the AI agent did it itself with a community member, and we adopted the token. And the way it works with these fair launches is that the creator, being the dev in this case, or the agent, doesn't have team allocation, doesn't have a treasury. They only make fees from the token being traded, which means now you have an interesting intersection of the attention economy that is integral to everything that is agentic and agentic marketing, putting socials together with the fact that the only real marketing that actually works is the super authentic and organic building in public. So you mix that together with the token attention and the utility of the agent, and all of a sudden you have a system where the market prices the development of the project in real time, as opposed to the current model where of, let's say, pre-seed with VCs, where you usually have a team, they have a concept, and they have about 18 months of runway when they get VC funding of a pre-seed or seed in order to find product market fit and show traction. And in those 18 months, we believe are not really relevant to how fast the agentic world is going in this new startup model, because we're seeing agents that find product market fit within weeks and start getting hyper growth in terms of real revenue external to the fees within weeks or months. And they don't have time to go and have, 3 months of discussions with VCs and get term sheets. They should be, and it shouldn't be what they're spending their time on. They should be building. And so for Bankr, as an agent and a company that went through that process, that actually found product market fit while it was funding itself through the fees from trading, we're like, okay, we know how this works. We know it can be done. We're the living example of it. This is the model for this economy. How do we support them as much as possible structurally, from a tech stack, and from growth? So that's the Bankr story, and I'll kind of throw it back to Igor to kind of work through the details of the tech stack. And of course, Bankr itself, if you know it as an agent, it is the simplest wallet for humans, and because it's natural language and allowed for very advanced automations that were usually reserved for professional traders on centralized exchanges, and now anyone can do it with prompting. And we kind of compared it originally to what vibe coding did to non-engineers. Bankr kind of did for humans to non-professional traders. It gave them the same tools and the same superpowers as professional traders. And the principles of abstracting as much of the complexity and making it as easy as possible for anyone to build is what guides us also when we're building the infrastructure for devs. And I think the X402 example, which Igor can dive into the specifics and the technicals, is a great example of that, because you have this foundational infrastructure for the entire ecosystem. But now there's a question of, okay, we integrated it into the Bankr stack. And as we were doing it for Bankr, we're like, okay, wait, there are like 3 levels of abstraction that we believe we can make much easier for devs to be able to implement. So let's build it for our devs. And we did. So that's really what guides us through the entire architecture process. So Igor, you could talk about the actual tech stack.
Yeah, that was an incredible overview, high-level overview. And we're seeing some really exciting stuff happen, and I'll share a builder that sort of speaks to exactly what Danny was saying, was that in this new agentic world on the internet, when things are moving very fast, and a solo dev can ship his way to success. And so I'll start with just for anyone who's listening, who's using this as a resource to start from scratch and build an agent, I could share my screen and show you a few of the docs.
Can you share it? Do you have the... Oh, yeah, it looks like you do. Perfect.
Good. So this is where everyone should start. It's very simple. All you do is you tell your Claude or OpenClaw or any instance where you are coding install the Bankr skill from our GitHub repo. That's it. You're done. After that step, all you're doing in natural language is querying, how do I do XYZ? And because you have the skill, it'll navigate you and tell you exactly what to do. This is the simplest and easiest way to get started with Bankr. It's one line in natural language. After that, you get access to a few of our infrastructure pieces, whether it's through the Agent API, which allows you to do DeFi actions, amongst other things. But I'll jump over to the Bankr LLM gateway because it's a very important component of building an agent that pays for its own inference. Let me see. Okay, I think I should share my whole screen. It'll probably be easier.
Maybe in the
Entire
meantime,
screen.
just because you're on the agent and API, I think it's important because I think you were asking also about people starting from scratch and the wallet piece and the agent API piece, why they're important in the way we built it in Bankr. So agents, starting with the foundation, the wallets, right? Let me be clear. Agents should not have private keys, ever. Okay? If the wallet requires saving a private key, even if you think all the guardrails you can think of, the agent will eventually leak them. So the solution is the Bankr with privy and sharded wallet and sharded keys, and the Coinbase solution, of course, with the hosting and the encrypted keys. This is where this solves the first foundational problem, and you need to make sure that whether it's Bankr or Coinbase or a similar solution, you need to make sure that that kind of wallet works with the way agents are today, which they cannot keep secrets. The second thing is with the agent
that's
API
a really good...
is, oh yeah, and you've seen. I mean, Igor has dealt with.
No, it's a really good starting point. I think that was a good place to like make sure that after you install the skill, you're thinking about access control. So you don't, out of the box, like Bankr has gone through the iterations. There's a reason why it's already in our infrastructure to make sure that everyone is building agents correctly and securely. So our devs don't need to worry about that. We give them access control, which means that they could control read-write access. They could whitelist IP addresses. So a quick example is, if I'm building an agent, the way that nothing bad happens is you leave the read toggle on, which means it only has read access. If you want to go a step further, you whitelist your own computer's IP address. That means that it will only accept requests from your machine. So that way nobody can prompt inject or do anything. And of course you could release those controls as you iterate, but those are the first two steps that you can do to ensure that you are creating an agent securely. And then lastly, we also give you the ability to whitelist wallet addresses. So you can actually specify which wallets your agent can and cannot send funds to. So that's a really, really important point. So you install the skill, you jump into access control, make sure that you're building your agent securely. And then I could probably just do it here. We could jump to the LLM gateway. So this is a feature that a lot of our devs love using because an agent doesn't have a credit card. It doesn't subscribe to things like we do. So how do you work with an agent so it could pay for its own inference? The Bankr LLM gateway. You could fund it with USDC or, as a matter of fact, any token to pay for its inference. So this has been very helpful for our builders to get access to 25 plus of the latest models via crypto or stablecoin in this case is the easiest way to get started. Any questions on access control or Bankr LM gateway?
Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to just dive in. I think it's a great point to dive in on security, as like there's always like the worry about like hey, if we give agents control to like a wallet or like or like my documents, like it can always like leak it if someone like targeted, right? Like not just with like payments, but even with like LLM data. So it's a good point that you have restraints here. I think a lot of people will be enjoying this kind of control when they can build on Bankr. So good to know.
Yeah, it's a very common question that we get asked.
I have a
So
question,
yeah.
if you don't mind. I'd love to know more about, like Danny mentioned, about the key management system. Nowadays this is really a key topic in agentic commerce on chain, especially because lots of vibe coders mostly they put their private key on a .env file as a non is the non like scripted way, right? So it's really easy to target that. So nowadays, like I know that there are a lot of tech stacks to fix that problem, like how to connect a private key safer way with the with AI agent. Like I remember a couple of weeks ago, MoonPay also launched some kind of open wallet standard for like how to manage our private key or like admin access on that for the AI agent. So I wonder how Bankr kind of try to kind of solve that issues. Like you mentioned about sharding the keys, and I want to know more details about it.
Yes. So in terms of private key management, the way that you ensure that the agent doesn't leak the private keys is you never give it to the agent in the first place, and that's the model and infrastructure that we've set up at Bankr. Because at the end of the day, if the agent has access to the private key in any way, shape, or form, by any nefarious party can eventually prompt its way to pry that key out of the hands of the agent. Um, and we've seen this happen.
They don't even
And
need
that's
to
why
do
it's
it, right? That we've had a few of really top like Web3 developers who've been in the space for years and really did all the guardrails and then
Mhm.
told us, and they have other wallets other than Bankr that because they manage they let their agents manage a few wallets, and they shared I think Austin, right, shared publicly that some of the agent sometimes leaks keys even when not prompted, just because it was, sharing like a repo on GitHub and it accidentally also shared some secrets. So, I mean, if it does that on a ongoing basis, when you have malicious actors actually trying to get it out of it, then you're screwed.
Right. So the key is like, like we have to avoid to say the private key .env with plain text. Yeah, we all know that. But to enable agent wallet to do some execution on chain transactions, anyway, in some way, they have to be able to access some private key or some kind of different text stack to execute that. So
So
like,
yeah, so we're the different tech
yeah,
stack.
nowadays,
So we use Privy managed
uh,
wallets.
right.
The Privy managed wallets through the Bankr LLM has all the Privy security aspects, where you can actually have these managed transactions without giving them the key, and also Bankr itself from a natural language perspective, and this is where the agent API comes in. Also guardrails all the hallucination of the agents, which I think is a key point for wallets, because there's one thing, okay, don't give them wallets. There already are solutions to give them wallets that are managed but still uh, have the same level of security. But there's another layer where how do you guard against hallucinations? And here is where Bankr, as being over a year and a half and 10 million plus messages from real users, not synthetic data that it was trained on, real usage of every degen in Farcaster and X, using it and battle testing it and breaking it. And the architecture and the guardrails that were built to Bankr being able to translate very well intention and anywhere from an agent doesn't know natively when you tell it buy some Bankr for me. Okay, there are 5 different bankers on Base, then there are like 3 on Solana, only one is the real one. Okay, how does the agent know which pool to go for? It doesn't if you don't natively teach it. They hallucinate on. They have a very hard time for some reason getting both contract addresses right and wallet addresses right with capital A, lowercase a, etc. Like there's just so many edge cases in trading that Bankr already solved. And that's why for an agent to interact with it directly, with Bankr directly, in order to have all its DeFi actions and its on-chain actions, Bankr already solved all that for the agents. So we want the devs and the agents to focus on their business and not having to now rebuild the entire architecture in order to protect themselves. And that's part of the services that the Bankr stack gives you off the box.
Great. Yeah. I mean, the reason why I asked this question is because, especially for people who listen, watch this podcast, and if you never tried on-chain agent commerce yet, then probably you guys all will start by putting the private key on .env file because that's kind of standard. Even though using all the skills
Hopefully
and
not.
yeah, and then nowadays the key topic is like by putting not the plain text in the .env file. Then there are a lot of area to utilize how to securely use those on-chain actions. Like one as an example I mentioned is MoonPay's open wallet standard. It's like that's kind of putting kind of encrypted one-way encrypted key string with actual agent wallet. And then the mnemonic exists in each chain separately, and then they don't connect each other. So agent does not need to know the one plain private key. So that's kind of one of the examples to how to protect. And I'm sure that Bankr has also some technology stack for that. So I wanted to know more details about it because all the audiences want to know for deeper for that tech stack too. So that's why I asked this question.
Yeah, and exactly. It looks like Bankr is already prepared with like both the wallet side and like and Danny mentioned like hallucination problem with like token addresses. Like you've made like guardrails in both areas that both beginners and experts might have problems dealing when they would first dive into the agentic space. So yeah, that's great insight. And it looks like Igor wants to explain more about like the X402 Cloud. I think we can go dive direct into that, and it would be great to follow up if you can share like one of your case studies of like agents or like skills that have onboarded to Bankr. That would be like a great flow.
Yeah, absolutely. So Bankr released X402 Cloud, and the purpose of this was to create the easiest way for agents and devs to set up a paid endpoint that accepts payments via X402. I've done this myself already, and probably dozens of our ecosystem projects already did this since the announcement less than 24 hours ago. It's very simple to set up and start accepting payments for the services that the devs and their agents provide. And Bankr because it has a lot of other infrastructure pieces, such as the natural language in the wallet. It becomes very interesting to combine X402 services with the Bankr wallet. So, like an example of something that, for example, if you create a service to order DoorDash, and pay via X402, you can actually, through your Bankr wallet, say, hey, are there any X402 services for food? And if a dev has built one where you could order stuff through DoorDash, and we'll surface it directly in the wallet. So not only are agents and devs creating these endpoints to accept payments, we're also helping them, kind of populate the discovery of various different services that are available to to people, whether it be DeFi or perhaps it's food. So I'm really excited about that part because for a lot of the people in our ecosystem, one of the biggest things is discovery. So like if we can do a good job at not only getting them up and running with their services, but also helping others discover them, that's a big win. So X402 Cloud, it's got a lot of new components that are coming up. And right now, there's like exact pay. So that means that like when the X402 endpoint gets hit, the response gives you the exact amount that the person needs to pay. But there are other new interesting things that are coming out shortly, like an up to parameter and a streaming parameter, which further extend the creativity and use cases of how devs will use X402. For instance, like, up to is interesting for like LLM usage because you don't know until the prompt completes how much it would be. And then streaming creates other interesting use cases for our devs because perhaps you provide a service that you stream small amounts to over the course of a week because you're providing that service for a week. So these are all important components that we want to implement, and we coming very soon. So that way, our ecosystem and all the devs and agents that are building on top of it have things that they could be creative with and create new use cases for providing services to the world. So super excited about X402 Cloud, and happy to answer any questions around it.
Also, with the news today of the Linux Foundation kind of taking over the development and a huge coalition building this as the new standard for agentic payment on the internet, it's important to also mention in the big picture that I think Base and Coinbase and Bankr are really aligned on the new business models that this unlocks. Because until now, because of the way payments are made in Web 2, the subscription model, even though it doesn't really fit ideally to a lot of services, was the only option for companies to actually bill in a way that's sustainable. And that was a limitation on like a business model that was limited by the financial infrastructure. X402 for the first time allows for micropayments and pay for services. There are so many services, just data APIs as the easiest example, right? Like why does it make sense to pay for a subscription that maybe you use half of it, maybe you max out after 3 weeks and then you have to top out at a different price? Like that model is not efficient in the market. Whereas X402 direct payments make so much sense for agents that are really unlocking a hyper efficient economy. That pay per use is one of those elements that unlock this hyper efficiency within the economy. So what Bankr did here is it's very DevOpsy in a way, right? But like that entire integration stack that in Web 2 is like, Stripe and AWS Cloud, so hosting and payments and the accounting. It all usually takes like a dedicated DevOps engineer 3 weeks to integrate 3 different services that you're paying in order to get this payment stack. Whereas here it's like one command to Bankr, and you've unlocked the same stack for your agent in order for it to enter this hyper efficient economy. And we'll be seeing more and more the use cases of how this actually plays out. And we believe that in the open market, in the internet, I can't say if the adoption will be within a month or within a year or a few years, but it doesn't matter. The market will always go towards efficiency. And this is the most efficient way to actually bill for any service on the internet.
Yeah, I think like even calling it a stack is an overstatement. Like it's so simple. It's like a plugin more than a stack. And yeah, as you mentioned, like for like small builders, especially like not like the large players, that simplicity really reduces like the overhead you need to actually like lift off, right? You mentioned like 3 months up to like 6 months, like that becomes weeks, even days, if you can like get the cycle going. So I think that's the magic sum, and looking forward to like how X402 really simplifies that even more.
GitLab was founded by Kevin. I just think it's such a great profile of what happens on Bankr for somebody who's just building stuff on the internet. So for everyone who's listening and you're grinding and you're shipping stuff on the internet, Kevin he created a GitLab X account, had about 200 followers. We've been watching his story closely over the course of the last 3-4 weeks. He won the Bankr and Synthesis, one of the tracks that we have. He was one of the winners. And so GitLab is like Git for agents, and he's been iterating on his product over the course of the last 3-4 weeks. So he won the Bankr and Synthesis, one of the winners of the track. And then as he was iterating and shipping and building credibility in public, earning fees, using it to fund his compute, using it to fund his own operations. Claude leaked their code, right? So he quickly forked it and named it Open Claude and launched a GitHub repo, which now has, over 1,000 repo stars. And he absolutely took off. His X account went from 200 followers to 11,000 followers. He can't catch a breath. He's shipping relentlessly. And I bring this story up because in our world today, in the world of the agentic internet and vibe coding, Kevin is a great example of what could happen, for lack of a better phrase, like overnight. Obviously, he's been grinding behind the scenes for a long time, but it's even kind of heartwarming for me to see. I joined Bankr about 2 months ago, but to see our community devs win like that is something that I hope to see more of and support more of in our ecosystem. And for anybody listening to that, this could be you like tomorrow. If you're building agents on the internet right now, reach out to us, to me, to Danny, DM us. We would love to get you started. And we think that the new world is far more exciting than the old.
Yep. Igor, thanks for the case study. That's a great addition to anyone who's listening. And okay, Project, thank you for waiting. Now it's your stage.
Actually, I want to add up that like
I need to get a charger, but I want to listen to Project 7. So can you just wait 1 minute? I'm getting my charger so I can listen.
Oh, no problem. I was gonna just like add more story. What Igor mentioned about it. The Claude, yeah, Open Claude was quickly getting a lot of stars, and actually one of the Korean developers, he also did similar thing, and then he even added more code on that. Code I don't remember. He's Igojin. His name is Igorjin. No. What was his name? Oh, Sigrid.
Sigrid, right?
Sigrid. Yeah. He got legal. He may get legal letter though. Like, so I kind of start to worry about this kind of stuff. Like, Claude leaked. Great open. I mean, it's supposed not open, but yeah, it became kind of open source. And then every developer quickly jumped into making something. And then the GitHub constantly sending their letter, DMCA letter, kind of blocking those repos. And then some of them are already blocked and getting legal letters. So yeah, I don't know how this war is going to go in directions. I hope Kevin is fine. I hope Sigrid Jin also is fine with it. But yeah, I really value this.
What's his name? It was Peter and the guy from Moldbook. What was the guy from Moldbook?
Before multiple, it was like before Open Claude. Claude clothes. Yeah.
Well, no. So there's Peter for OpenClaw, who created OpenClaw, and then there was Moldbug, the social network.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both those guys got legal letters, and one was acquired by OpenAI, and the other one by Meta. So they're
Microsoft
in a world of the wild west, and iterating and doing big things on the internet. Sometimes things. So that's not to say that you shouldn't be careful, but things move fast.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a blocker. Also, my understanding that the kind of loophole for this specifically is that they rewrote the code in Python and then rewrote the code in Rust, and then that's kind of a loophole that it's not it's not their intellectual property anymore. But I mean,
Yeah, it's
listen,
actually
this is the
value add or
attention
something,
economy.
right?
If they take him to court, I mean, that takes his shares up because it's like, well, my agent autonomously did this.
Yeah, who's the
Yeah,
Be
legal
an
representation for the
precedent, yeah.
agent?
Okay, so my turn, right? so like I wanted to actually focus more on like kind of 5 quarters especially for non-developer today, because I started my whole vibe coding 6 months ago as a non-developer. I'm just a Web3 designer, so I didn't know any coding and stuff. Just basic knowledge about how apps and websites are built because I had to design. But that's all. And then I started whole this track. And I think started my side project on Base helped me a lot because like everything on Base, to be honest, like is open sources. Like there are a lot of repos you can check. Even Bankr constantly share all the skills and stuff. Not just for bankers, all the like projects on Base, they constantly create skills and docs and open source. It's really great starting point. So I started my journey, this 5 coding journey on Base definitely. And the first thing I built the in terms of agent on my own hand is I wanted to make kind of my own AI intern on Farcaster, because another great benefits of Base is that there's a Farcaster stack. Like it's kind of social stack. No other chain has this kind of well-built social stack. So Base has social stack and commerce stack. Now it's going really great. So yeah, I started to think about like I wanted to make automated AI agent. Like so I don't need to deal with all the interactions with people. I mean, to be honest, I'm a very introvert person, so I don't like to talk with people. So I wanted to make some of them thinking like me and then talking to people on behalf of me. So I made Droppy on Farcaster. Obviously, I used OpenClaw stack at the time. And then, it's going great because Farcaster has all the infra. If I started to build AI agent on X, like Twitter, probably I gave up because, first of all, the API cost is enormous. Even many of that is not open for public. If you build something and do automate on X, probably day 2, your account will get suspended. But Farcaster has no limits, has all full infra. So yeah, I could quickly make AI intern fully automated. It's still working very well. She posts a lot, like 20 times a day. I mean, mostly interacting with replies and mentions, and then even go to find some good builders to be friends with him or her. So she works really well. And then after that, I start to build my own mini apps, because mini apps also really interesting stack because it's first of all web. It's not iOS, Android app. It's not difficult. It's simply a website, and then you just put something, and then it instantly work on Base app and Farcaster app, which is beautiful. So I started to develop my own mini app. I made so far maybe 5 mini apps, and one of them I'm kind of proud of is called the Dropcast. It's very simple idea. I also wanted to make my marketing automated. I wanted to make something. If you put up airdrop campaign budget on your Farcaster post or X post, and then people do some actions, and then they get reward. So very simple format, right? And then I made a Dropcast. Anyone can just post a campaign to boost their podcast post and X post. But I made a lot of efforts to make kind of very detailed targeting. If you want to target only for certain follower levels, quotient score, certain NANA score level, even X post some engagement score, like I kind of made a lot of algorithm for that. And then a Dropcast user can target very detailed way for them. Can also put any yes training token as a airdrop reward, which was kind of one of the benefits too. So yeah, all those tracks like was really possible because Base has a lot of open ecosystems, like in every ways. So if you're listening this, if you're watching this podcast, do not start with your vibe coding or agent journey outside. You have to start immediately on Base. Even do not tap on like iOS or Android, those kind of application ecosystem. Don't do that. You're going to give up, believe me. Day two, you're not going to do that. But when you start on Base, you will be really builder for long term, like what I did.
Yeah, project is literally being the Base ambassador. Like Andrew, he's doing your job, man. You should help him more.
That's why
Yeah.
that's why I stayed quiet. I mean, nothing to add on. I think that's probably why he became the top builder within South Korea. His enthusiasm, his know-hows. Yes, and I hope many folks who are listening to this podcast also kind of dive deep into Base journey in a seamless way because it is so easy. And I was so amazed with the X4 cloud idea on Bankr because like for many agent builders, many like X4 builders, they were like, there's no such place where I could like easily find other stuff. I mean, we need a aggregated some kind of marketplace that we could see, browse, and also upload their projects. That was the pain point because, basically there are tons of productions as of now. And then now the bottleneck is the go-to markets. As people are struggling how they can go out through the AI commerce era, I think such products like the X4 Cloud and Bankr and also the many infrastructures that X4 Foundation is going to pave. It's going to open up a lot of more opportunities for everyone. And if people are, very brave enough to join the journey, it would be more easy and also even easier in Base. Yes.
Actually, really
Perfect.
interesting part of what Base doing nowadays is like XO42 is really great. But I personally really impressed by the 8004, the ERC 8004,
Yeah.
the agent ID. Like it was just like an agent ID registry protocol. It's just like very simple one. But from that, suddenly like thousands of agent ID like suddenly like registered, and then they start to work on something because Base has social stack too. So like whenever some AI agent built and then they register their ID on A04, my coworker actually made something cool called Agent Cast. So when you go to Agent Cast, you can see those AI agents posting something on Farcaster. Because they that reads only the 804 registry. So it's literally like a Twitter for AI agents. So I think X42 and 8004 the AI agent standard, those kind of two will make actually great driven places on chain on Base, and that any other chain can do this. So I think it's really interesting ecosystem evolving, I guess.
And I think they're necessarily
Yes. Well, yeah, what a
complementary
great
to each
story.
other for the stack because on ERCA 004 right now you have a lot of junk. Like I just searched through it and they're like 5 different fake banker support agents registered, right? And it's permissionless. There's nothing I can do about it. But once you have the way we set up, for example, the X402 cloud, is that it also allows us now to have tracking and registry of actual commerce done by an agent through X402. And did they fail? Did they go through? Like, what's the success rate? You kind of build on top of that as a reputation layer that complements each other, that, okay, your identity is not a standalone. It actually starts having real record of your transactions through X402 and the services that you provide, and then it allows the sorting for other agents to be able to say, okay, now I'm searching for a specific service and there are 1,000 registered agents. How do I pick the right one? How do I know that I'm actually going to get the service, that they actually do volume, that they're a real agent that does what it says, and that complements the discoverability layer with a reputation. And I can even see in the future, additional services and businesses being built on top of it that have to do with credit, that have to do with reputation, reliability, and everything like insurance, right? Like eventually we'll have some sort of insurance for these, for this work. How would they know? They would need data in order to even have a baseline to have an process. So those stacks being built on top of each other. The products being built on top of each other, complementing each other as a stack on Base will exponentially grow the ecosystem because that data will open up the ability to have new use cases and new businesses for the entire financial stack. So it's really like a doubling down exponential effect when you build those puzzle pieces.
Yeah, that's very spot on point. Yeah, saying open up the skills is one way that you're achieving this kind of composability, and hope to see like more of like these like standards come up. Especially now we have like the X402 Foundation. Yeah, such great talk. A lot of great ideas.
Super excited for everything that's built on Base. There's a reason why we're doubling down on everything we're building here and the ecosystem. And we really want to see some great Korean devs building agents with Bankr reach out. We already have an incredible user community within the Bankr ecosystem and the Bankr club. Now it's time to get those devs in and see how we can support them. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Thanks for your time, Danny. Let's see you around. Okay. All right. So I have a few like just open questions, and then we'll go back to like what we missed. So like in the end, this is a Base Korea targeted podcast. So I actually wanted to ask Project, since while you are quite proficient in English, you are a Korean builder and essentially a non-dev. Did you feel like there might be a language barrier for Korean natives?
Like actually the moment you feel language barrier nowadays is when you meet people like this, right? Other than that, like when you're building, you don't have language barrier anymore, because even though the docs, like, or the resources written in English or in other languages, you don't research yourself anymore. Like Logan, did you read entire documents from X42 when you start? Like every
Not really.
yeah. We
Yeah,
don't do
I
any
just give them to AI agent and then just
AI, right? Yeah, me too. We just give all the resources to AI. AI research something for you. So I think the more focus for us to do is not about language thing. It's more for like how to process that info. Like, like, yeah, X42, we all know that's great. But the more question is like, so where do I utilize this for? Like, if I just add X4 to stack on my app, is it a great thing to do? Like, if you don't think, how do I utilize this for what to achieve for? If you don't define clearly what this is, then, nothing is meaningful probably. So yeah, I think we're living in a great moment actually. Like you don't need to feel any language barrier anymore, because you're not gonna talk to the person. You're not gonna read those documents by yourself. Your AI will do all the research and give you information. So only your role is just to how to process for that.
Yeah, great point. It's all about like just commitment and like
Right.
yeah.
You don't need, you could just talk through to Bankr in Korean and they'll know what you're saying. So language barrier, no more.
Exactly. It's more about like just like acting and like just knowing like what to do, like Project mentioned. And I think it's a great transition like Igor, you share like Bankr knows a Korean as well. So like it's all about where you start, right? Right, where you're starting, what you do, building those boundaries, like scaffolding. I think that's what my agent told me. But yeah, how about you talk a little bit about like how skills work? Like we say skills all the time, but like probably newbies don't even know what actually like a skill is. And you can talk about it in Bankr's context. I think it would be like a great help.
Yeah, of course. I could start off by just stating what skills do in general. So skills are the way agents learn. They're an instruction file, a .md file that, I mean, a human could read it, but it's really good for agents. They scan it, they read it, and that's their learning mechanism. In the world of agents on the internet, you want to be able to quickly upload knowledge to those agents, and skills have emerged as the de facto best way to do that. So I could share a little bit more on the Bankr skills repo. So if you go to skills.bankr.bot, we have one of the largest skills repo in the crypto industry with a lot of skills here, including our own Bankr skill and many other partner skills from Uniswap and Base and ETH skills and etc. This is a great place for anyone who's building agents to explore what is possible with skills and what they could teach their agents. If you're a builder, not only can you use this as a way to teach your agents things, you could also create skills that other agents in our ecosystem can use. So this is pretty simple. You just click create skill and it auto forks our repo, and you could create a PR, and then you would reach out to me, and we do like a security scan and merge it into our repo, and then it shows up here in our directory. So the goal of this was to bolster the dev ecosystem, to give builders and agents the tools they need to do cool things with their agents.
Yep. I think that's a great summary for both non-devs and devs. So like it's that simple, guys. Like you just have to like figure out like what ideas might work. So just do a lot of research, figure out like what's going on, like recent developments, go through like Bankr skills, like what others have built. Also like great projects, like what project our guy here has built. It could be like in the socials, trading, or like whatever, even very small, typical, trivial ones. So just don't hesitate. And I think like heading to our wrap up, I think we can talk about like what isn't existent in the current space. So like what you hope to see in like coming months or like even weeks. So like it can be as a builder or like both as just like a member of this ecosystem. Love to hear about like what you think would be great to be added to this agent ecosystem. So I'll throw this question to like everyone here. Like, yeah, it could be from like Logan or Igor and you, project all of you guys. Yeah, it would be great to know like what would be like a good addition. Personally, just myself, I think it would be great to see more like a marketplace where you can like really find out like what the trending agents are and what I can actually like pick and use. Like because at this moment, I think still a lot of the agents and ecosystems are still in their like small boundaries. They're still like in their own islands. So we still need to like kind of bridge or like bring them together in like a single, not single, but like let's say like 2 or 3 hubs where they can like really be viewed as a whole. So that would be my ask to the ecosystem in the upcoming months. But love to hear your opinions on that as well. Yeah.
I think so you said that the agent marketplace, right? This is a really great idea, especially on Base. We already watched how it looked like, ACP. So Virtual already created kind of great skill marketplace, and then using tokenization on top of it. But whenever I see those kind of trial, like so agent marketplace or skill marketplace, or even some broader area, like some people can use your agent to do something, I feel like it should be more like, what is agent, to be honest, Like I keep asking that question first as a builder, because the concept of agent is actually quite broader term nowadays. Like, is it something that working automated out there on the web spaces that anyone can access on? Or is it something that just like a AI agent that I'm using just daily basis on my local? Is it something like OpenClaw based agent that just work automated like out there? There are a lot of different level and then architectures, what to do stuff. So agent scope is extremely broad, I think. So if you think about something to do on Base, I think you should start this question first. If you want to jump into agent, a commerce or agent ecosystem, what types of agent you want to build first? Like, is it for yourself or is it for someone can use some skills that you built, or is it something you want to for kind of toy project to want to make kind of AI agent for you, out there, sort of like that. So this is a very important question, I think, to come up with that. Then maybe ecosystem can be grown on top of your needs or other people's needs like that, rather than just building like AI agent marketplace or sort of like that. It seems like a pretty awesome idea, but I want to know more like what that's for. That questions.
And that's actually a great take. So, I think like the core of like what we're trying to say is like build something useful instead of like just trying to like show off like that understand this like ecosystem that provides like more value than like just showing that you build like a list or like aggregate something that you can do in like minutes. So yeah, and love to hear more of like these kind of like hot takes and approaches. I think that would be like a great road to wrap up. So everyone can like share like their opinions on like what builders should focus on. Maybe we could start with Igor, and then go with Andrew and Logan, and yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. There are a few interesting topics that are emerging, and at least from my standpoint, what I find pretty interesting and valuable in the world of agents. So one clear one that is very underdeveloped but can be very useful and also profitable are trading agents. The infrastructure is not 100% there to accommodate them between like throughput and reliability and speed and stuff, but it's been really cool to see people combine the reasoning of LLMs with the large data sets that agents can read for market data. And combining those two things can produce some good signals and trading execution. So we're seeing a lot more emerge from the trading side of things, especially in our ecosystem and the banker ecosystem. And then if you make your way over to commerce, which largely leans on now the use case of X402 for payments, I think a lot of real world use cases will start to emerge because you can do things like have an agent living in your iMessages or any WhatsApp or any other messages, and you can set up that agent and have it order you things, and it lives in your group chats or it lives in your one-on-one chats, and it can make these X402 payments now programmatically through the agent infrastructure. So with no like setup. You don't need to like go through the onerous setup of credit cards and etc. So I think you'll see a lot more real world use cases in the ways of commerce appear in the format of agents. So there are many different tracks that you could choose. Both are still developing. So you are, I guess, as people like to say, you're still early. Like I'm very excited about both tracks. I think both will be far more developed in the next 12.
Yeah, it's still day one, as everyone says. Yeah. Andrew, do you want to add your opinion there?
Day one.
Yeah, it's all the same, but I see things are going to speed up more as we turn more into mobile focused strategy. I mean, for us, Base, from Q2, we are going to focus more on the Base app, which is the mobile application for the Base chain layer. So that would mean that people would be able to access the Base chain ecosystem and the broader blockchain offerings through their smartphones. And as we all know, people being able to access through many information through their smartphones is another story. Like for example, even for ChatGPT, when they only had the website version, it wasn't that blow up. But when people started to use the application within the smartphones, like I even spotted all those like people in their 50s, 60s, 70s all asking through ChatGPT like they would use Google. So I think, yes, we are now in the very early stage. And as we move more into a mobile centric experience, I think things are going to speed up more. And then still, but for the agent infra perspective, it's still very more CLI focused, even though we say that it's just a copy and paste, it's still copy and paste in the CLI through the desktop. So I think that's a kind of a last hurdle that we must go through. But I mean, we already know through like Bankr, like projects like Bankr, it was really easy to, launch a token through, just tagging BankrBot. And then if people are allowed to interact with skills and agents through that kind of easy way, even through in their smartphones, I think it's going to be even more faster. And then I think we should work more to make that a closer future.
Great ideas from Andrew. But last but not least, can we hear from Logan?
Okay, yeah. What excites me most is that agents on Base are starting to look like real economy actors, not just chat wrappers. Once an agent has a wallet and identity and the payment rails, it can pay, receive revenue, prove who it is, and interact with service with a software native way. I believe that over the next 6 word a month, I don't know, a year, I expect less attention on generate AI agent demos and more attention on narrow but real use cases, agents that pays for data, agents that trigger real on-chain actions, and paid for services designed for other agent to consume, like that. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to what comes Base and our life. Yeah, so let's see together.
Perfect. A lot of great ideas. Listeners, there's your playbook there. Like all these great ideas you could start working on right after this video is published. Let's see how long it takes me to edit this. Hope AI agents help me to make that process better. And yeah, I think we'll wrap in here. It has been a long but very fruitful conversation on like what is happening in the agent ecosystem, especially Base. We heard great ideas and stories from both Bankr and Project, who's building multiple products for both himself and external users in this ecosystem. And finally, we also heard like what new builders can start working on right away, what hurdles they might have or they might not have. Like Project mentioned, language is no longer a barrier. So I think the baton is passed on to you guys who's listening to this podcast. If you made it up to here, I think that's already a great leap against everyone else. As Igor said, you guys still early. We're all very early. Let's make this opportunity great and hope everyone becomes great pioneers in this ecosystem and both our everyday lives. And yeah, I think let's call it a wrap. This was June from Base Korea. Thank you everyone for joining today. And we'll see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.